Before most people over 60 are told they have a kidney problem, they've already lost up to 70% of their kidney function. No pain, no warning. Just silent damage building up in the background. And by the time it shows up on a test, the next step people hear about is often dialysis. Here's what makes that even harder to accept. Some of the daily habits you trust, even certain things meant to protect your health, may be quietly adding more pressure on your kidneys every single day, but almost no one tells you this part. There are 5 simple spices, already sitting in your kitchen, that contain natural compounds studied for their ability to ease that pressure, support blood flow, and help your kidneys clear waste more efficiently. Not something exotic, not something expensive, just small things most people overlook until it's too late. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what they are and why they matter more than you think. Now, let's begin. Number 1, turmeric. Most people see it as just a spice, but inside your body, turmeric may be working on one of the biggest reasons kidneys slowly lose function with age: long-term cellular stress that never fully goes away. The active compound, curcumin, has been studied for how it protects kidney tissue at a very early stage, not when damage is already severe, but when it's still building quietly, without symptoms. Inside your kidneys, millions of tiny filters are constantly exposed to pressure from blood sugar, toxins, and reduced circulation. Over time, that pressure leads to microscopic damage. The filters become less flexible, less efficient, and eventually begin to scar. That scarring process is known as fibrosis, and once it progresses, it becomes very difficult to reverse. In a 2024 review published in Antioxidants, researchers found that curcumin helps slow this exact process by reducing oxidative stress inside kidney cells and interfering with the signals that trigger fibrosis. Another controlled clinical study in patients with early-stage kidney disease showed that curcumin supplementation led to a measurable drop in protein levels in the urine, one of the clearest early signs that the kidneys are under strain. What makes this important is not just what curcumin does, but when it does it. Kidney decline doesn't happen from one single event. It builds slowly from multiple small stressors happening at the same time, and curcumin appears to work by stepping in early before that damage compounds. Using turmeric doesn't require anything complicated. Add about 1 teaspoon a day into foods like soups, eggs, or rice. For your body to actually absorb it, combine it with a pinch of black pepper and a small amount of fat. If you prefer supplements, look for forms that include piperine, which improves absorption significantly. One thing to be aware of: turmeric can interact with blood-thinning medications. If you're taking prescriptions, it's best to check with your doctor before using it consistently in higher amounts. Your kidneys don't suddenly stop working. They wear down quietly over years under pressure you may never feel. And turmeric works in that same quiet way, helping protect those tiny filters one small step at a time. Number 2, garlic. For many people over 60, kidney problems don't start in the kidneys. They start in the blood vessels, with pressure that stays slightly too high for too long. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, released when it's crushed or chopped. This compound helps blood vessels relax and improves how blood flows through the body. That matters because your kidneys filter blood nonstop. When pressure inside those vessels stays elevated, even slightly, it begins to wear down the tiny filtering structures. Slowly, quietly, over time. Clinical research has consistently shown this effect. A large meta-analysis of randomized trials found that garlic supplementation can reduce systolic blood pressure by about 8 millimeters of mercury on average in people with hypertension. And that reduction is not small. Sustained over time, it can significantly reduce the mechanical stress placed on the kidneys, which is one of the key drivers of long-term decline. There was a 71-year-old man who had lived with mildly elevated blood pressure for years. Nothing extreme, no major symptoms. But over time, his lab tests began to show early signs of kidney strain. His doctor adjusted his treatment, but he also made one simple change. He started adding fresh garlic to his meals daily. Not as a replacement, just as a consistent habit. Over the next several months, his blood pressure readings became more stable, and more importantly, his kidney markers stopped getting worse, not reversed, but no longer declining. That's the part many people miss. It's not about fixing everything overnight. It's about taking pressure off the system before damage becomes permanent. Using garlic is simple. Crush 1 to 2 cloves and let them sit for about 10 minutes before eating. This allows allicin to fully form. You can mix it into meals or take it with a bit of olive oil if the taste feels too strong. Cooked garlic still helps, just in a milder way. One important note: garlic has a natural blood-thinning effect. If you're taking medications or preparing for surgery, it's best to speak with your doctor before using it regularly in larger amounts. Your kidneys don't fail suddenly. They wear down under pressure, year after year. And sometimes, something as simple as garlic can help ease that pressure before it turns into something permanent. Number 3. Ginger. Ginger directly supports one of the most overlooked parts of kidney health, how well blood actually flows through them. As we get older, circulation doesn't stop, but it becomes less efficient, especially in the smaller vessels that feed the kidneys. That slight slowdown is enough to reduce oxygen delivery and make waste removal less consistent over time. You don't feel it happening, but your kidneys do. The active compounds in ginger, called gingerols and shogaols, help blood vessels relax and improve microcirculation. This allows blood to move more smoothly through those tiny filtering structures. When that flow improves, filtration becomes more stable. Waste is cleared more effectively, and the kidneys don't have to work under constant strain. This has been tested in clinical settings. A 2022 randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Renal Nutrition found that ginger supplementation significantly reduced C-reactive protein levels in patients with chronic kidney disease. This marker is closely linked to internal stress that accelerates kidney decline. Lower levels of this marker suggest less ongoing damage and a more stable internal environment for the kidneys to function. What makes this important is timing. Kidney problems don't usually begin with failure. They begin with reduced efficiency, a slow drop in how well the system works day after day. And improving circulation early can change how fast that decline happens. Using ginger is simple. Slice a small piece of fresh ginger and steep it in hot water for 10 to 15 minutes. Drink it once or twice a day. You can also add grated ginger into meals, soups, or smoothies. It doesn't take much. Consistency is what matters. One thing to keep in mind: ginger has a mild blood-thinning effect. If you're taking medication or preparing for surgery, check with your doctor before using it regularly. Your kidneys depend on steady flow, not just effort. And sometimes, something as simple as ginger can help keep that system working the way it should. Number 4. Cinnamon. Cinnamon works on one of the most damaging forces affecting your kidneys: blood sugar that stays just slightly too high for too long. It doesn't have to spike. It doesn't have to feel extreme. But over time, even small elevations begin to affect the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys. Those vessels handle filtration. When glucose stays elevated, the walls begin to thicken and lose flexibility. The filters become less precise, and waste starts to accumulate where it shouldn't. Cinnamon helps slow that process down. It contains compounds like cinnamaldehyde and polyphenols that improve insulin sensitivity, helping your body move glucose out of the bloodstream more efficiently instead of letting it linger. With more stable blood sugar, there's less ongoing strain on those delicate filtering structures. This has been tested in clinical settings. A 2021 randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that cinnamon supplementation significantly lowered fasting blood glucose and improved insulin sensitivity in people with type 2 diabetes. Participants also showed reductions in HbA1c, a long-term marker strongly linked to kidney damage progression. Lower HbA1c levels are associated with slower deterioration of kidney filtration over time. Cinnamon also provides antioxidant support, helping limit the cellular damage caused by prolonged exposure to high glucose levels. This isn't about instant change. It's about reducing the repeated stress that builds up quietly over months and years. Using cinnamon is simple. Add about half to 1 teaspoon to coffee, tea, oatmeal, or yogurt. You can also mix it into smoothies or warm drinks. If you plan to use it daily, Ceylon cinnamon is the better choice, as it contains lower levels of compounds that may affect the liver in large amounts. If you're taking medication for blood sugar control, monitor your levels carefully, as cinnamon can enhance its effect. Your kidneys respond to what stays in your bloodstream, day after day. Keeping that balance steady can make a bigger difference than most people expect. Number 5. Parsley. It may seem like the least important item on this list, something decorative, something you barely notice on your plate, but inside your body, it works in a completely different way, by helping your kidneys move fluid and waste out more efficiently. As we get older, the issue isn't always what enters the body. It's what doesn't leave as easily as it should. Fluid begins to linger. Waste products stay in circulation longer, and your kidneys are forced to work harder just to maintain balance. That extra workload doesn't feel dramatic at first, but over time it adds pressure to a system that's already under strain. This is where parsley makes a difference. It contains natural compounds like apigenin and other plant-based flavonoids that support kidney function by gently increasing urine output. Not in a harsh or dehydrating way, but in a steady, supportive way that helps your body clear excess fluid more efficiently. When that process improves, the kidneys don't have to compensate as much. Waste is removed more consistently. Internal pressure is reduced. This effect has been observed in research. A study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that parsley extract significantly increased urine volume and enhanced the excretion of certain waste compounds, indicating a supportive role in kidney clearance function. That matters because your kidneys rely on this exact process every single day, not occasionally, not when something feels wrong, but constantly. And when that system slows down even slightly, the effects build over time. Using it is simple. Add fresh parsley to meals like soups, salads, or cooked dishes. It blends easily into everyday food without changing much of the flavor. Another option is parsley tea. A small handful of fresh leaves steeped in hot water for about 5 to 10 minutes is enough. You don't need large amounts. What matters is using it consistently, allowing your body to benefit from that steady support. One thing to keep in mind, parsley is naturally high in vitamin K. If you're taking blood-thinning medication, it's important to speak with your doctor before increasing your intake. Your kidneys are constantly filtering, balancing, and clearing. And when that process becomes just a little more efficient, it can take pressure off the system in ways you may never feel directly, but your body depends on every day. Before you go, let's quickly bring this together. Each of these spices works in a different way. Turmeric helps protect kidney tissue from long-term damage. Garlic supports healthy blood pressure and reduces strain on the filtering system. Ginger improves circulation so your kidneys can clear waste more efficiently. Cinnamon helps stabilize blood sugar, one of the biggest hidden threats. And parsley supports the natural removal of excess fluid and waste. None of them work overnight. None of them are meant to replace medical care. But together, they address the small daily pressures that slowly wear your kidneys down over time. And that's what most people miss. Kidney problems don't usually come from one big event. They come from years of small imbalances that quietly build up in the background. So the goal isn't to wait for symptoms. It's to support your body early in simple ways that are easy to stay consistent with. If you found this helpful, take a moment to support the channel. Tap like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need it. And if there's one small change you can start today, your future self will thank you for it.